Welcome, revelers. This is Off the Rails, Right versus Left, the podcast that we do because we think the left is evil. I'm Rob B.
And I'm Brad Lee.
And I'm Brian G.
And we are Off the Rails, Right versus Left. Again, we're doing this show because we think everybody needs to know that the left is evil.
Classic.
Welcome, revelers. We're going to have a little bit of fun here because even pre-show we were having a little bit of a contentious discussion about current events. We're going to talk about a couple cases of body cam footage, and we're going to go for a blast from the past because I've heard like 4 times people talking about Operation High Jump, and I just love the topic, and it really makes you wonder. To me, it makes you wonder. So anyway, I'm Rob B. With me, as always,
Bradley.
And this is Off the Rails, Right versus Left. So, I don't know, Brian. Is Brian on?
I don't see him. He's. Why do I have so many issues changing the background?
I don't know. I don't care about the background. Just get on the call.
Yeah, right. Sort of. Sort of what?
Probably if I asked him when I asked if he was awake. Anyway, okay. So first of all, we had 2 releases of body cam footage. So the first one, Fox News and all the conservative media, you all look fucking stupid with the release of the Pauly P body cam footage.
Yeah.
They weren't both in their fucking underwear. They weren't wrestling around naked. The video or the security footage shows that he was creeping around in the backyard, broke into the house with the hammer that he then later attacked Paul with. Now, that being said, I do think that there's a previous relationship there. And here's the reason why. Like, if this dude's just like creeping and like attacking him with the hammer, dude, Paul never would have gotten his hands on it. He's like, what, a 70-year-old man? There's no way he got himself in a position to get a hold of the hammer like that, and that they were just sitting there like that. Like, as soon as the guy decided to hit Pauly, he fucking did it. You know what I mean? So I do think that there's more to the situation. I do think it's possible that Pauly's the guy's like reoccurring John. But as far as the situation, yeah, he broke into the house. I don't know that he was looking for Nancy at all. I didn't see any indication of that in the video. But the media does look stupid, perpetrating all the rumors about it being them wrestling in the nude and all that shit. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll be honest with you, that's not one that I watched. But
welcome, Brian G.
Yeah, I saw him standing, and there he goes. But yeah, quit screwing with somebody.
And he's back, and he's gone, and he's back.
Anyway, turn it on and off. That's cool.
So yeah, the actual body cam footage shows. God, I forget if it showed that Paul opened the door. Yeah, Paul opened the door, and the cops came in, and like they both have their hands on the hammer at the same time. And then all of a sudden the dude just like fucking hauls off and starts clocking Paul. And then the minute he does, the cops rush in and tackle the guy.
So as soon as he cocked the hammer back to swing it, you think they would have shot him?
Well, I mean, they're like sitting there having a discussion at first. Like I don't know if they even had the guns drawn at that point.
Well, the way they were talking, it sounded like they did.
Yeah. So anyways, but then again, like you still have an innocent person and a guilty person, and like that's still dangerous shooting near somebody. You don't want to hit the person that you're trying to save. So anyway, but the narrative that they were both naked or they're both in their underwear, all that shit, it was all bullshit. So the guy broke into the house, woke Paul up while Paul was sleeping, Now, whether there's a pre-existing relationship or not, we still don't know. But it's a good start-off point to the media, both right and left, jumping to conclusions over narratives. Like, the left jumped to the narrative that this guy was a right-wing extremist. I don't know a lot of BLM supporters that are right-wing extremists that live in vans and do psychedelics and worship and imaginary gods and all that shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, right-winger, what was he doing in this country? Because, you know, if he was a right-winger, he wouldn't have believed in illegal immigration, which means he would have gone back to where he came from.
He wouldn't have believed in Black Lives Matter either, and all that other bullshit that they found.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So, like, that was the left's jumping to the narrative that it was far-right extremist attacking Nancy Pelosi's husband, and then the right, like, concocted all these like creepy narratives. Now, I do believe that Paul Pelosi's a creep. Like, he's a nice guy from every account that I've seen, but I've also seen that there's a lot of talk about him, like, picking up, like, prostitutes, and it is awfully weird that there was no security on site, like, because there's always security on site at Pelosi's house.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
So that's still kind of weird.
Why do you think Nancy Pelosi had an exorcism performed at the house afterwards? Isn't that a little weird?
Okay, where did you hear that? That is like some weird shit.
Dude, you haven't heard that?
Oh man, that was all the news last week that she had a freaking
Exorcism performed on her house.
Did she say she had an exorcism, or it's rumor?
Who's that?
Her daughter. Her daughter said it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe Pelosi believes in God to be having an exorcism.
Dude,
Like,
she's
you can't want to.
She's a devout Catholic. What are you talking about?
Shut up, Rob. She goes against so much of the beliefs of the Catholics.
Yeah, you need to shut up, Rob. She's a Catholic, and she is very devout.
She claims to be Catholic. She's pretty far from anything I know of as Catholic.
Hold on. Did you hear about that, Brian?
She didn't.
Yeah, and fucking Liz Warren's Indian princess.
I did not.
So,
I did
anyway.
not hear about that. Unfortunately, I did not hear about it.
Oh, exorcism.
Anyway, so
Hold on
that
a
being
second.
said, I just think the one case made them both look bad because they both jumped to conclusions. They both said shit that was false. No justification, no verification. They just the shit that they wanted to say for no reason. So they both look bad.
Insider. Nancy Pelosi had an exorcism at her home after attack on husband. That was from Insider. Washington Examiner. Nancy Pelosi had priests come for an exorcism of the house following the attack on her husband.
Maybe she thought her husband was possessed because of the way he just sort of stood there and casually talked to the officers as the guy was sitting there, as they're both sitting there holding the hammer in their underwear.
No, it's because she knew what kind of evil, gay, satanic crap was going on there. So she was like, I need to get rid of my house with this before I come sleep in it again.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe she's the one that summoned demons there, so she knows the place is possessed.
Well, and then that dude apparently came out today and said that he, in a phone call, that his only regret was that he didn't get more of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway,
look, you're a weirdo, dude.
Dude, so
that's why you're in Paul Pelosi's house naked.
Yeah,
now the body cam footage released. Like, yeah. For the other one, for Tyree, what's his name? Tyree
Nichols, which is weird because
The last place that I looked, Newsweek said that they hadn't been able to find a criminal record on him. I'm like, you're Newsweek. You should be able to say whether there's a criminal record or not. But they're saying there's no evidence for the reason that they pulled him over. They pulled him over for suspected reckless driving. And so far there's been no evidence that was the case at all. Now, before I go off on what I'm about to say, he should have just done what they said, because you see it in one of the cops, the white cop that actually shows up on scene when a black cop has already got him stopped in the middle of the road. I don't know why someone stops in the middle of the road, but the cop that was confronting him was on the left side of him. So he was taking up traffic on oncoming traffic. He was taking up one of the lanes.
Okay, well, I mean, I still.
So he goes
now,
up.
and then-
He
okay,
goes
so
up
here's-
and he starts yelling at the kid to get out of the car. And this is when the white cop shows up. He yells at the kid to get out of the car, and he's like, "Okay, hold on." And he starts getting out of the car, and the cop rips open the door and just grabs. Well, it looks like he looks over at his buddy who had just pulled up, and he opens the door, reaches in.
Do we have dash? Do we have dash?
Grabs the kid out of the car, right? And starts fucking with him. And he should have been like, dude, he started to struggle there, but he stopped after a while. He's like, hold on, you guys are doing this for no reason. There's no reason to do this. And the fucking one cop was looking for a fight, I think, that night. But he ends up, getting him down, and he's trying to get him to put his hands behind his back. He wouldn't do it, which is where he screwed up in the first place. He should have just done it. They tussled for a little bit. Then they used the taser on him, right? The white cop tasers him, and the kid really starts fucking struggling. And he ends up getting up and taking off running. No, his problem was he should have just let the cops fucking do what they wanted to do, get the cuffs on him.
And beat him in court.
He should have just been like, okay, I'm gonna do whatever you want, and fucking I'm gonna go to jail. My parents will fucking bail me out, whatever. He's really a fucking,
dude. Nowadays he ain't even gonna have to.
Drug dealer. But anyways, so then he takes off, and then you get a fucking street camera on another one. There was 4 of them. I only could stomach watching the fucking 1.5 because they the cops fucking just go to town on this kid.
Okay, so I have a question. Did they show the dash cam from the actual stop, or from the?
I don't know, dude. There's 4 different videos that have been released, and I only got through 2 of them.
Yeah,
After I saw what they did to him, holding him up and shit, and beating him with the asp, and a fucking cop running up and kicking him in the fucking head, and they just fucking throw him around. They beat the shit out of him until he was just fucking wreathing in pain, and then they fucking drag him over and throw him up against the fucking cop car. There's literally 5 different cops that beat the shit out of this fucking poor kid, and they were all black. Even the white guy who got he lost his fucking glasses, and him and another black guy that had pulled him over originally had ended up somehow pepper spraying each other, which is why I think the kid got away, because one of the prongs from the taser actually got into Tyree, but he ended up getting away. So I don't know, dude. It's just we shouldn't back the blue blindly, and those people that do, you're stupid bootlickers, and you need to get the facts straight, just like I do. I don't have all the facts yet. I don't know if Tyree was a fucking super bad guy, but from the reports that I've just read, they can't even say that they're confident that there was a reason to pull him over for suspected reckless driving.
Well, as we've all said, most cops are some of the best people in the country, but there are
right. And if these were good,
there are bad cops out there.
You're right. And see, if these were good cops, five of those cops just beating the shit out of a kid. The kid wasn't fighting back.
Okay. So stop for a second. Let somebody say something. Like, for example, where are those cops now?
In jail, suspended.
Where they deserve to be.
I know they've been fired.
Okay, but my point is, if he had beat the shit out of those cops, he would not be in jail. He'd be out walking the street on no cops bond.
That is probably true, but I don't know, because Tennessee is a pretty red state. I don't know how they are as far as.
It doesn't matter. All the fucking DAs are put in place by Soros. He'd still be out walking around. The only ones that stay in jail anymore are fucking cops or people in self-defense.
So Soros DAs.
Anyways, to me,
You have a valid point.
What we know from the body cam footage is that the cops deserve to be charged and investigated, and they're going to have their day in court.
Yep.
And that's what's supposed to happen. Okay, but that
Yeah.
needs to happen when cops do wrong, and it needs to happen when citizens do wrong.
Absolutely.
And they need to stop acting like the fact that there are more black people in jail is because of racism. It's not. It's because more black people commit crimes.
And I think a lot of that has
Statistically
to do with
speaking.
Robert Holmes.
And I support the blue. I support our law enforcement officers, but I do not support what I saw on the footage that I saw. I do not support that.
Yeah, and that's my thing. What I didn't need to watch more than one angle. Like once he was subdued, everything they did after that was unnecessarily and criminal to me. And that's it. And that's all I need to know. So then they should be charged and go through the court process. The end.
Right.
Like there doesn't need to be fucking riots. Like you would riot if nothing happened.
That's another thing. That's another thing. His mom came out and said that you guys shouldn't riot. That's not what Tyree would want. This is just, there's no reason to burn down cities in my son's name. The problem is the left has this problem that these police officers, every single one of them was black. That's the problem with the left.
Right. So and here's my issue here. Like, okay, great. So if they're not getting justice, then you protest. You don't riot at all. I'm down with that. But the problem is, you got riots going on when the guy is getting justice. Like, the horrible happened, and the justice system is working.
Well, they just got arrested. This happened. The kid got beat on the night of the 7th. He died on the 10th, and now it's the 28th. Those cops literally just got arrested. I mean, I understand that it takes time. I mean, I understand that they were probably fucking relieved of duty the day after he died, but
No, they were relieved of duty the day after the incident, pending investigation. Yeah. Anytime there's a physical interaction, that's always what happens to the cops. Whether it's a shooting, they have to billy club somebody, no matter what. If there's a physical interaction between the police and a suspect, they are suspended pending investigation.
Yep.
And as soon as the department concluded their investigation, what happened? They were fired, and the case was referred
were they
for criminal charges.
Still on suspension until after.
So, but they were referred for criminal charges, right? I mean, so that's what happened. So, I mean, that's the system playing out. Now, that being said, once in jail, they're going to stay in jail. They're not going to be released.
Well, they're
going to have to be in solitary for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to be in solitary all the way through the trial. And then when they're convicted, they're going to be in solitary the entire time they're in jail too.
Because otherwise they're not going to live.
I was happy to see that the family came out and called for no violence, saying that he would not want that. Please.
Yeah, that's what I just.
Not turn the violent protesting over this, but let the trials work its way out. I was really happy when they called for that.
But the problem is the terrorists funded by Black Lives Matter have already shipped in a bunch of protesters because they announced 4 days ago that it's time to go and riot, and gave BLM time to ship in their protesters from other cities.
Yeah, the racists will do whatever they can. They will bust their butt to cause a bunch of violence and disruption.
I haven't heard anything about Black Lives Matter being there. I've heard about Antifa, which is obviously the jackbooted thugs for the Black Lives Matter, but
yeah, and
they're not there making a thing of it. I don't see Al Sharpton talking about it, and that's the thing. The thing is the reason that you don't see that is because it was black people that did it to a black kid. Or
that's why you're not seeing as much on the news about it. I mean, if it was even one white cop involved or a Hispanic cop involved, oh man, this would be you would hear it 1,000 times more than you're hearing about it now.
Well, apparently there was a white cop involved at first because you could see on one of the body cam footages, it's a white cop when he first he's the one that actually tases Tyree, and Tyree ends up getting away. But yeah, it's a white cop and a black cop first in the situation at first. But
well, I haven't watched the videos.
The cop that pulled him over was a black cop.
I haven't watched the videos. All I've seen is one news report about it, and you
don't need to watch the videos, bro. It's
had
terrible.
4 or 5 black cops listed as the people involved. So
you don't need to watch it, bro. I watched it for you, and I only watched 2.
Well, I get so tired of it of things like that on the news because they always, whenever they show those videos, they show just a small little small little section of it, which shows what they want and not what led up to it and what caused it and what's going on. They just the one part that makes it look like this was the worst incident ever. The cops just totally, and I hate that. And I'm glad that they released a whole hour-long video. I'm glad they did that.
There's 4 different clips, bro, and I'm like, dude. After I saw the second one and what had happened, I mean, because the second one that I saw, the first one was the original traffic stop and him getting away. Yeah. And then there's a camera on a light pole, and they literally take control of the light pole camera and pan it over to where the cops are just going to town on this kid. And one cop pulls up in his car, gets out, runs up, and just kicks the kid in the head. And they're just literally beating the crap out of him. One guy comes out with those collapsible asps, whips it out, and just starts beating the hell out of the kid. Changes positions because apparently hitting his legs wasn't good enough, so he wanted to go for his head. He just started fucking beating him in the face. They pulled him up and held him up. You could see the kid's head just flopping around as he's still getting beat. One guy punches him in the face. Another guy fucking hits him with the asp again. I'm like, oh my God. I had to stop watching it. I was like, dude, this like after he was done, he was on the ground breathing, and none of the cops are helping him at all. At all. Like the kid's like, well, he's gonna die, obviously.
Yeah.
And then one cop comes up and shines his light on him, and he's probably thinking, oh fuck, what did you guys do? And he grabs the kid by the fucking collar, drags him from off the grass and across the street up and slams him up against the fucking cop car and just leaves him there. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What is all of you cops? The reason every single one of you cops there not fucking beating the shit out of the other cop are the reason why cops have a bad name. Every one of you cops that hit that kid for no fucking reason when he was down on the ground and there was 3 other people on top of him, you deserve everything that you get. And I hope it's a lot.
I'm going to throw in a line from Men in Black. Person is smart. People are stupid. When you get people in a group, they're stupid.
There's an effect. That's an effect, isn't it? Bongino has talked about it.
Yeah, it's the model.
If you were able to grab a person from a rioting group of people and be like, dude, and say his name and calm him down, he would be like, oh, what the hell am I doing? This isn't something. But when you got a mob of people that all think the same way.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, anyways. So I still want to see like all the footage leading to the actual interaction. But no matter what led up to it, like once the guy was subdued, everything after that was criminal.
Yeah.
The end.
I agree.
Nothing else I need to know. I don't need to know about their mindsets.
Yeah.
I don't need to know about what they went through. I don't need to know about what he's done. Once he was subdued, every time they hit him after that was criminal.
That's it. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's not like George Floyd who died laying on the ground 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you follow me, right?
On the ground from a drug overdose.
He has to be on the ground, and he died on the ground.
On his shoulder, and the cops on his shoulder blade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that selective, the selective cuts on George Floyd video, where they only show the angles where it looks like he's on their neck, but when you show the actual body cam footage of the cop that was standing behind him, it's like very clear that his knee is on the shoulder blade the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing we can't post anything new on YouTube because they'd probably give us a third strike for you saying that.
Oh, dude, I was like, dude, I was talking with this black kid that I know. I was like, dude, I don't know what's going on with this whole George Floyd thing. I'm like, dude, I don't think. I think that what Eric Chauvin did looked bad, but I'm like, dude, I don't know what would have happened. I go, dude, every time I've ever been pulled over, I've never been treated like a fucking, like, oh, I can't breathe. Let me sit outside. Then they've never let me sit down. I'm like, they
No,
what should
he
have
said
happened.
he wanted to lay on the
I told him-
ground, and they let him lay on the ground.
I told him, I was like, dude, he should have been thrown in the back of the car, regardless of whether he's claustrophobic or not. He was just in a Mercedes fucking G class, or fucking G class, GL, whatever. I'm like, that fucking Suburban he was getting into was a lot bigger than the fucking SUV that he was getting out of. Like, they just throw you in there and go. Like, you don't fucking get to fucking. They're not going to let me sit around and be like, let me OD on this fentanyl. He's like, what? You think it was a drug overdose? I go, I think we were robbed. I think we don't know. Because
Yeah,
they should've
actually, we
thrown him
do
in
know.
the back of the car.
It
and
was a
fucking-
drug overdose.
2 autopsies said he died of fentanyl poisoning. They had to get a third autopsy from a
Well, no, but
trial
look,
like guy who
the
does what-
visuals, the selected visuals that they used during the hearing, and of course, I'm talking to a black kid who's center left and fucking thinks that fucking black people are kind of oppressed, but he's not really sure because he was in the military. So I'm trying to help him change his mind. So I'm not gonna fucking attack him like that. So I'm like, dude, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I think we were robbed. I think if they would have just thrown him in the back and closed the doors and fucking left, he would have died in the back of that cop car.
Yeah, he would have, and then it still would have been the same
So-
situation.
I'm like, so that's what I believe. I'm like, dude, when the autopsy comes out and he's got twice the amount of fucking fentanyl to kill a fucking elephant,
Yeah.
what do you want me to say? You want me to be like, oh, this motherfucker is a genius and knows how to fucking split up his fentanyl so much that he fucking builds up a tolerance? No, the fucking idiot tried to fucking use a $20 counterfeit bill to buy cigarettes. And then when it didn't happen, he fucking told him to call the police, and then he waited there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're an idiot, not a very good career criminal.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about so-called career criminals. They're not really career criminals if they keep going to jail and losing everything that they earn.
Right?
It's not a very good career.
It's not a lucrative career.
Yeah.
So, but no, so like, I mean, my issue is with the constant like jumping to conclusions about the video. Okay,
Which is why I haven't even said anything about it until now. I saw the video come out. I'm like, dude, this don't look good for the cops. Way to go, cops.
And it don't look good for the cops because the cops didn't do good. And that's my thing. I'm not saying they did good. I said I want to see this whole story, but there is nothing like short of him like shooting at children. There's nothing I could see that he was doing that would have justified what the cops did to him. And I still don't think there's anything to justify what the cops did to him. Like, but the cops are being charged. The criminal justice process is going like moving along. And most of the time on murder investigations, they usually go on for months and months before they even bother charging somebody. So the fact that, like, I mean, you mentioned the time frame, dude, 18 days later, they're in jail. Like, that's fast for a murder investigation.
Yeah, that is pretty fast. Yeah, I guess. I mean,
like, I mean, the reality is they can like
you already
have the guy on
knew
video
who did it
cutting
because you
somebody
suspended
down,
him.
still, yeah, but I mean, like the reality is they can usually have like video of somebody like executing somebody at point blank range, and it will still be months before they ever make the arrest because they make sure they have all their ducks in a row.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right. That is pretty fast. But, I mean, look at how long it took for him to arrest the fucking Idaho murderer.
Yeah, so to me, it's the wheels of justice are in process. We got to let it play out now.
I want to know how that kid got caught, bro. I know if it, dude. I know if it's me and I got away after being. I know if it was me after getting away, being tased and shit, I would have fucking. They would have never fucking found me, dude. I would have hid places. They would. You may have found me on fucking a Mr. Ballin podcast, bro.
Mr. Ballin
fucking ended up in a chimney and he fucking couldn't get out. That's what I'm saying, dude. I'm like, dude, I don't know. Dude, I would have ran for the nearest fucking tree, bro. They wouldn't have found me. No way. Dude, it took them fucking before the cops went to go get him. There was 2 cops that came by, the guys who had originally stopped him, and they're like, he ran that way. And it was like fucking 5-10 minutes later. I'm like, dude, do you know how many miles I could have ran in fucking 10 minutes?
So, but I will point out that the one thing that this has in common is with every other death in police custody is the people having a lack of understanding going against
what
the
to
cops.
do when they get
You are
pulled over?
not going to win unless you are fighting them in the courtroom. Period.
Right.
Nobody fights the cops and wins.
Well, they're being charged.
They got the outnumber, and they can always call more.
They're being charged with a plethora of charges, bro.
Yeah, no, and I'm okay with them being charged based on the facts of the case as we understand them now. And they're going to have their day in court because being charged with a crime, they have a right to a criminal defense, just like that kid would have had if he had just like given up and gone to jail. He would have had a right to go to court and make his case. But the minute you fight, it's so stupid because even if he hadn't gotten beaten and died, the minute he started resisting, then he's going to get fucking jail time for resisting arrest. He's going to get a jail time for evading. Like, it's fucking stupid. All you're doing is adding charges. If you didn't do anything, fucking take the arrest, go to jail, have your day in court. And don't take the bullshit plea deals that they try and fucking give you to, like, race your way out of jail. Just fucking, make an honest appeal to the judge. Look, this is, like, some bullshit. I'm going to be fighting this, but, like, I need to work and live my life. You know what I mean? But you beat the cops in court. You're never going to beat the cops on the street. Ever.
Yeah.
And like all of these and like these so-called like Black Lives Matter activists, if they think Black Lives Matter and they wanted to actually save Black lives in their interactions with the cops, they need to say, you submit. If your arrest is wrongful, we will protest and we will pay for your lawyer.
They just start. It's going to end up being 7 people. They just suspended 2 more people.
But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's not going to do nothing. Like you said, the only way that you're going to beat the cops is in the courtroom, right?
Right.
Protesting ain't going to do it either. Protesting helps, but rioting does not. Violence is never the answer. Well, almost never the answer.
Rioting.
Yeah, but then again, I love how this lawyer that was firebombing police cars gets less than 2 years in jail, and he was the one distributing firebombs.
Right. It's okay if you do it to the police, but it's not okay for the police to do it to you.
Yeah, there are people that literally walk through doors being held open by cops who are motioning them in, serving 2 and 3 year sentences because once inside they stepped around a barricade. I think the person who blew up a cop car did a little more than the person who stepped around a barricade.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people that were arrested on that January 6 bullshit were ushered in by the cops, and then you literally watched them on the video as they're walking through the Capitol. They're staying between the velvet ropes. That's not an unruly mob.
Nope.
No. There were some, though. The ones that were breaking.
No, there were. I'm not saying there weren't. I'm just saying.
And I think those were agent. I think those were agent provocateurs, personally.
But it definitely wasn't an insurrection.
No.
Yeah, there was no insurrection because there was no plan to take control of the government. They were.
Nobody's been charged
with disrupting Congress, but
they did that with Kavanaugh.
I don't know. They
did it with every fucking women's rights fucking bullshit ever to go through that fucking place.
Yeah, the BLM's been disrupting government progress or government acts for how many months? How many autonomous zones do we still have in this country? Like 5 or 6 at least.
It's ridiculous.
If the police can't go into those areas, tax collectors can't go into those areas, tax assessors can't go into those areas. Anybody that's there is interfering with government business and should be arrested.
Did you guys hear about the idiot at Cop City in Atlanta that fired and injured a state trooper, and then he ended up getting killed, and then they decided they were going to go riot in Atlanta?
Yeah, and then they actually arrested some BLM protesters for terrorism.
Yeah.
About fucking time.
And because none of them were from there. One was from Spokane, Washington. I'm like, are you kidding me? I used to live in Spokane. That figures.
Well, they got tired of fucking the cows.
Yeah. I guess.
Nice, bro.
Yeah, I've been to Spokane too. Ain't nothing there but fucking
terrible.
Says the man who enjoys the donkey show.
Yeah. Oh! You're a little slow there. God, you got to get faster on that draw.
Yeah.
I'm driving.
Like, what is wrong with that, man?
I'm like,
is it like
enjoys the.
Where is it?
It's in the video clips.
In clips?
All right. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so Operation High Jump. Do you guys know what that is?
I don't know what Operation High Jump is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the theory is that the Nazis were in collusion with aliens. And they were working together at the South Pole because the Nazis put a lot of fucking troops at the South Pole. Right? So this really
There's a lot of theories out there.
His name. Somebody pull it up. You guys are both at computers, right? One of you guys pull up Operation High Jump so you can give the names.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories that the Nazis are down there. They have a city down in the Antarctica somewhere.
Yeah, it's still a current article. Now, you know that like the Nazis were creating flying saucers for the war, right?
Sure.
So here's like I couldn't find the actual like photograph. There was a photograph of one, but this was the mock-up of what they were building.
Yep, I've seen it.
What do you see propulsion on it?
Yeah, just the guns down below. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, how did this thing fly?
Yeah, I don't know if it ever did fly.
Well, okay, but where'd it go?
Oh, where did it go?
Good question. So, and it's like well known enough that this is actually a toy you can buy on Amazon. Yeah. That is like a reproduction of the original model.
Yep.
Of the Nazi flying saucer.
Yeah, the Pegasus.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So they were making flying saucers. There is no jet ports on that, anything. It had no way of powering the wheels. So what was this thing for? So what was the power source and what technology were they going to use to fly this thing? And where did they get it? So the rumor, of course,
submarine, dude.
Huh?
It was a submarine.
With open gun ports? I don't think so.
Yeah. Dude.
That was not a submarine.
Displacement, bro.
Dude, you can't fire a bullet. You can't fire a bullet underwater.
No shit. That's why you surface.
Dude, there was lots of reports.
I'm just fucking with you, man. I have no clue what that fucking thing is or where it is.
You never heard of that before? No.
Anyway,
this is the first time I've heard of it.
So, did one of you guys pull up Operation High Jump yet? So, literally, Eisenhower sent like one of the most decorated like war pilots, and like a fleet of something like 140 like vehicles to the South Pole. And like years later, like after he had retired, he basically said, they said if I talk, they'll kill me. Like all my family's gone now, so I'm going to tell the story. And like he says that he went down there. There were Nazis down there. They were living with aliens. That the aliens made some sort of agreement with Eisenhower, and that's why the missing 411 series. That's why those people are missing, because Eisenhower made an agreement with the aliens that they could kidnap people in the national parks.
Yeah.
But the Mr. Ball did a bunch of
Age of Science.
huh?
The Antarctica's age of science.
Yeah, because the Nazis
100
built
years
a lot of
before
research
that.
stations down there. The Nazis built a lot of research stations down there because they knew it was one place that it was safe.
So, and now I always thought that like Operation High Jump sounded all hokey until the government started admitting that there's fucking aliens. You know what I mean? Like they can't find them or communicate with them yet, and if they could, they wouldn't tell us. Right? Like, do you think if the government made contact with aliens and we weren't like even if we're imminently going to be attacked, you think they'd fucking tell us? No, they go hide in their bunkers and let the rest of us die. Right?
Nice, bro.
Like, do you think Joe Biden would tell the American people so we can like prepare and defend ourselves and try and survive? Or do you think he'd go hide in his bunkers and be like, well, at least all the conservatives will be dead?
They want us gone.
I think Joe Biden,
except for the conservatives, are building their own bunker.
I think Biden would get on his knees and start gagging on the alien if he thought he would save his life.
Right. So anyway, so that's my whole thing with that. Like I always thought it like sounded like the most bullshit story. Like I thought it was fascinating that the Nazis built a flying saucer, and like they obviously had something in mind for propulsion for that. So it makes me wonder. Like remember, like our developing the nuclear bomb is because we got German scientists working on it. We had Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The German scientists were way ahead of us. As a matter of fact, we kept sending in missions into Norway to stall their progress
on the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reality is,
Nazis were way ahead. Well, Nazis were way ahead of us technologically. We got lucky getting to the nuclear bomb before they did. I mean, extremely lucky. But I mean, that's why we have all the rockets. If you look at NASA, early ages of NASA, all the major scientists were German.
Yeah. Yeah, we went and got all the rocket builders from Germany and had them build our rockets for the space program.
Well, and that's how Russia built
don't be
their
talking
space
about
program
those,
too, because they took the. That's how the Russians built their space program too. It's from the Germans that they took.
Everybody from the Braun family is insane except for me.
From the Brown family is insane except for you, except when you sound insane.
LeBron.
Oh,
that was Braun was one of the scientists that they got from Germany.
I know.
So yeah, no, it's yeah. So I found it fascinating. I've actually I love you know me. I love watching like all kinds of like goofy shit, and I've even seen like some videos that suggested that that the Earth is our magnetic field is actually produced by machinery in the center of the Earth. That it's actually hollow. Oh, yeah. That there's aliens that live in there. That they move around like. And one of the big ones is like you can look it up. There's literally a submarine base in New Mexico.
Yeah.
What?
There's a submarine base in New Mexico.
That doesn't surprise me. There's a submarine base in North Idaho.
Yeah, but do you know the reason why?
Well, they haven't found the bottom of Lake Ponderay.
Like a military submarine base, though.
Yeah.
So
yeah. There's a naval base in North Idaho.
Right. So these the behind this is that the oceans that the continents basically have like underground oceans under them.
Mm-hmm.
And the military goes in between.
Yep.
And there's alien crafts that go through under there and all that.
Okay.
So there's actually satellite footage that shows like along certain parts of the California coast where it clearly looks like there's openings where the rocky parts of the coastline are, that there's openings in the rock.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing is, that's why there's a submarine base, because that's where they go down to interact with the aliens in the underwater cities. So you combine that with some of the reporting after Operation High Jump, saying that the Earth is actually hollow and that the aliens live in there and that the Nazis are with them, and that this is like really, really like batshit conspiracy stuff. But considering how much conspiracy stuff is turning out to be true, can you really call anything batshit conspiracy stuff anymore?
No.
So the theories behind it are that literally they live in the middle of the Earth, and that's why if you go on Google Earth, you're not going to see the North Pole or South Pole, even though there's several satellites that are directly above.
Mm-hmm.
And yet none of them will show a picture of the North Pole or South Pole.
Interesting.
So there may be a conspiracy about the actual like shape and origins of the Earth, but it's not flat versus round. It's hollow versus filled with a liquid molten core.
Brad, you just look bored as shit, and you're just like, yeah, interesting. Yeah, okay.
Aliens. If Joe Biden saw an alien, he would think it was a statue of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh shit! You guys saw that statue? That is some fucking like. When did we lose artists? Like, I'm an abstract artist. So...
How do we get two modern art pieces in the same week that are just total garbage?
Which art piece are we talking about here?
Garbage. You had the Embrace on Martin Luther King.
Yeah, which looks like a penis.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The guy that made that was an idiot.
Yeah.
And then you had the one that was over the Supreme Court in Boston, or someplace.
Yeah, over the federal court building.
It was disgusting. There's horns growing out of it. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's little bib or whatever that she wears because she fucking loves chicken.
Yeah,
she loves baby chicken wings and buffalo barbecue sauce.
Okay.
So it's actually taken from the English judges' outfits, but yeah. Anyway,
it is.
Yeah, I believe we fought a revolutionary war so that we can keep the Brits out of our lives.
And yet our politicians were.
But Ruth Bader Ginsburg would still had a lot of respect.
Civil War.
But
that's why I don't care about Prince Harry or
justice system.
Yeah, the death of the Whig Party is when Whigs went away.
Right.
So anyway, but I think it's I always thought Ruth Bader Ginsburg was evil, so the depiction of her as a demon doesn't bother me.
She belonged in a donkey show.
I knew you were.
Oh my god!
I knew you were going to go there. I knew you were going to.
I love Ruth.
He's ready for Ruth.
Donkey show.
He thought you called him.
Huh?
That was his name.
What?
The donkey. His name was Ruth.
Nah, his name's Kelly.
Ruth.
Fuck.
Sneaky Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, do y'all see my message earlier? How did I miss an entire Kevin Smith movie?
Oh yeah, I saw your one earlier.
I was looking to see if I could rent Clerks 3. Yeah, and then I saw Reboot, and I'm just like, dude, how did I never see this?
Because you're a dumb shit.
Dude, And
You
it was
said
so
you never
funny.
seen, dude. You said you never seen Tusk. That's a Kevin Smith movie, dude.
Okay, like I'm not saying I've seen every Kevin Smith movie, but I had
And
seen all
you
the
just
Jay
said,
and
"How
Silent
did I
Bob
miss this one?"
Yes, Jay and Silent Bob movies.
How did I miss the Kevin Smith movie? I can't believe
Oh,
I missed
because
the
he
Kevin
loved
Smith
Jay and
movie.
Silent
But
Bob.
I've
It's one of
never
his
seen
favorite
Tusk.
shows. Jay and Silent
Is
Bob
Jay
is
and
one of his
Silent Bob in
favorite
Tusk?
shows. He
No,
quotes
Is he
them
in there
all.
with
Silent
Jason
Bob
Mewes?
is the one who freaking made Tusk.
I understand. Is Jason Mewes? Is it a Jay and Silent Bob movie?
That's not what you said, though. You said Kevin Smith specifically.
Okay, but I'm specifically referring to
You
the Jay
didn't
and Silent
say
Bob movies.
you didn't say anything about it being just Silent Bob.
Okay,
You
I
said,
have
how
now
did I
4
miss?
times.
How did I miss another Kevin Smith movie? If you would have been like, how did I miss another Jay and Silent Bob movie? I could understand that.
Well, I just
That's like being like, dude, I saw this fucking movie the other day. It's a new movie called Die Hard, Live Free, or Die Hard, and it's got Kevin Smith in it. How did I miss that Kevin Smith movie?
I knew he was in that.
I know. Everybody knows that.
Dude, most people don't even know who Kevin Smith is.
I think that's how he ended up meeting Justin Long to do Tusk.
Maybe. I should see Tusk though.
Yeah, you should. It's very interesting.
So-
Especially the beginning when the kid chops his leg off with his samurai sword. And
What
then
the
because he brought great shame to his family while he's in his wheelchair, they gave him his fucking samurai sword back, and he kills himself. He stabs himself with his sword.
What the fuck?
It's fucking great. You gotta watch it. And they find it because it was on some dude found this laptop at a garage sale, and he found it in one of the videos on the laptop. This kid just doing a fucking thing of himself because he got this brand new Tori Hanzo sword, and he's all swinging it around in front of him, and he brings it around his back, he's swinging it, and he pulls it around, and the samurai sword cuts his leg off. And he just falls over, and his leg falls down. It's freaking hilarious. And then it just gets twisted from there.
Gee, I wonder why we're so desensitized to weirdness and violence in the society.
No, dude.
Laughing over a dude cutting his leg off.
They do this podcast and they call it the Nazi Party.
Nazi?
The Nazi, not like Nazi Hail Hitler. No, not the Nazi. The Nazi
Like, I
Party.
do not see.
Like Justin Long goes out and he gets these stories, and he comes back, and his best buddy is the fucking kid from The Sixth Sense.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, that's kind of funny.
So they talk about that because he goes out and his buddy stays in. So he's the Nazi. It's the Nazi Party. So one of them sees and the other doesn't. About the stories that they talk about.
That's funny, dude.
And then fucking Johnny the Walrus, the shit starts happening. It's really quite interesting.
Johnny the Walrus?
Yes.
Okay, what's the connection there? Like, did I miss something?
He just sort of throws it in there.
Johnny wants to be a walrus, right?
Right.
So they're gonna have him be turned into a walrus.
Okay, but they have this actual fucking thing now of people that are animal kin. Have you seen this shit?
Yes, I know. It's a whole stupid fucking bullshit.
All right, man. Well, I identify as a 13th level wizard from now on.
Right?
Respect my magical powers.
Well, I identify as omnipotent. I'm impotent. Yes, I'm impotent.
That's an issue for you and your wife, brother.
That's good. Last time I said that to somebody, they said, dude, they make little blue pills for them. And I was like, they're blue?
Hey, Rob, so you think when we return to the moon and start exploring the moon more, you think we'll find some Nazi bases there?
On the moon?
We've never been to the moon.
There's a conspiracy theories that the Nazis have a base on the moon that they've been living on since World War II.
Okay. I think we have been to the moon. I think it's a base for an alien civilization. Either, I don't know if it's manned or unmanned, but they know that the moon is hollow.
Yeah.
Why are they trying? Why
Well,
is
ring
China
like a
trying
bell.
to get to the moon?
And
Well,
you still
why
haven't
is
watched
that-
Moonfall, which I've told you about. Every time you're like, oh, I'll need to check that out.
What platform is it on?
I'd have to look again. I've told you a few times in the past. I'd have to look.
I'll look at it after the show. Well, after the show and my immediate after the show call. Hey, we got a couple viewers. Hi guys. You can say hi in the comments.
Hey,
Anybody
there.
comment?
New comments will display right here. Right here.
Word. Anyway.
Word.
Like,
So did you guys have
share,
anything
subscribe,
else that you saw in the
comment.
news?
Well, you
What?
see that there's some more rocket attacks in the Middle East, in Israel, because of strike the Israelis did against Palestinians.
Okay. There has been a rocket attack on Israel
I know.
every day since 1976.
I know. What gets me is all these people that throw fits over that throws a fit over the Israelis protecting themselves. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're throwing rockets. Hey, what's the middle finger for, jackass?
That's for fucking Rob, dude.
What?
Since
1972, there has been rocket or mortar attacks or
So we
suicide
should-
bombings
So we should
on Israel by Palestinians every day since 1972.
we should just accept these attacks. Is that what you're trying to
No.
say? Or
No,
or,
I'm
No,
trying to
he's
say
not-
that
or
they
just
shut
that
up
this
and
should be
Israel just needs to
normalized
go
and we
clean them up for
shouldn't
good.
be
No,
talking
he's
about
not
these
saying that
rocket
we should accept the rocket blast, Brad. He's saying that there has been rocket launches every day into Israel. So this rocket, when I mentioned the rocket launch, it's nothing new. They've been doing it every day. Now we should, and he agrees that we should destroy he thinks we should destroy the Palestinians. They're not even
Yeah,
a
There is,
real.
okay,
No, I
there
get
is no
that.
such thing as
And I think-
Palestinians.
and what I
I
The
know.
area got
Until
named
World War II.
Palestine because the British, when they made it their territory, didn't want to have a link to the Romans scattering the Jews to the wind, and so they didn't want to call it Israel anymore, so they called it Palestine. And the area had been filled in by Jordanian, Lebanese, Syrian, and Egyptian people. None of the people that are supposedly Palestinian are actually from the area. And the countries
They
that
were
they
moved
were
in.
like forced out to by the war
Yeah.
were not allowed to join their original countries.
Yep.
They were kept as artificial refugees just to use them as a friction point against the Jews.
Yep.
There's no such thing as a Palestinian. Now,
Right.
the Palestinians have had like 4 opportunities to have a Palestinian state.
Yep.
You know what? If they want to be serious about being brokers in the world and being a nation state, then you accept the status of a nation state and then you begin negotiating for what you want. You don't try and use terrorism, because what has terrorism got them? They're in the same place they are now as they were 30 fucking years ago.
Yep,
That's
and
funny,
they
bro,
just keep
because
launching
you
the
just-
rockets every day, and a lot of people go, well, they don't actually kill anybody. It just lands in open area. Well, how many of those?
Bullshit. People die all the time.
I know. I'm just saying, how many of those? If you launch, say you launch 100, and 2 of them land in populated areas and kill people, well, that's 100 too many.
Yeah, 1 is too many. Like,
Rob, I like
Yeah.
how you did. I like how you did the Ben Shapiro thing. You're all. There's no such thing as a Palestinian. That being said, the Palestinians should blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, that totally
No,
reminds me.
Historically, there is
reminds
no
me-
such thing as a Palestinian.
No, I know, I get that, but then goes on to say the Palestinians.
Right, the people that the world
he
refers to
realizes
as
that there
Palestinians.
is.
No, there's
At
not.
the same time, realizing that there's not. Do you see what I'm saying?
There
But
is
no,
not a
that's
Palestinian.
listen
but
to what
the
I
people
listen. I'm
referred
making
to
a comparison.
as Palestinians
I'm making a
have had the
comparison.
opportunity.
I'm making a comparison. I understand what
Okay.
you're saying. I'm smelling what you're
I wish
smelling.
I wish I was as talented as Ben Shapiro, but I'm not.
But no, what you
Don't sell yourself short, Rob.
okay? So that being said, right? So you're like, okay, there's no such thing as Palestinians, but that being said, the Palestinians should do right. So you're like saying that there's no such thing as Palestinians. Well, at the same time, acknowledging the existence of Palestinians. Okay,
I
right?
acknowledge people that call themselves Palestinians, but that doesn't make Leah Thomas a girl either.
I'm not asking you to explain yourself. I'm just saying, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I get what you're saying.
You say that they don't exist, but then you say that they exist, but really, we all know that they don't exist. Okay, there's no such thing as them. God, no, that's all. That's all that needs to be said.
Okay.
Like Ben Shapiro says, when YouTube did what they did to Steven Crowder, I threw such a fit that I used my voice that I called Susan Wojcicki to complain about what she was doing to Steven during the Vox apocalypse when Vox was going after Steven Crowder, right? So then after he says that, he says in the same paragraph or monologue, we're not in bed with big tech. But what you just told me was that you are in bed with big tech.
Yeah, I ain't got a hotline number from anybody at YouTube to tell them to stop banning our content. I said I ain't got a hotline number to call them and tell them to stop banning.
Do you see what I'm saying? So this is Ben on his own show saying that he used his name and his influence to bitch at the people in big tech to try and get some sort of result from big tech, but they didn't get the result that they wanted, right? And then he says, but we're not in bed with big tech. But you literally just told me how you are. So what you're doing is pissing on my leg and telling me it's raining.
Something like that. And
people still think that Crowder's in the wrong. I'm like, no, dude. When Ben Shapiro literally comes out and says that, like, that's what. How the hell do you guys think that they're still on YouTube? There has to be something going on there. And that was Steven's thing. Steven said he'd take the deal, but Jeremy had to get rid of those stipulations for everybody else after him. And they wouldn't do it. And so Steven's like, okay.
Well, yeah, but I explained that. But like when we talked about it, I talked about the business side of it. If that's where the majority of, and let's face it, from this kind of content, that's where the majority of monetization comes from.
Well, let's face it, bro. We weren't even live when you went through all that.
Oh, okay. No, I think we were live when we talked about that.
No, when you were talking, because I had to use the bathroom when you were talking about that. I came back. We weren't live.
So in the content creation space, 75% of monetization comes from YouTube. They're the best monetized platform. So yes, it would make sense that the contract payout would be chopped down if you go and do shit that you know YouTube is going to demonetize you for.
But they're mostly
especially considering Ben Shapiro is going to have to like put his yarmulke on and get on his knees in order to get Crowder monetized again.
Right, but here's the thing though. They didn't dude, okay, so check this out. All right. Crowder let everybody know that he was going to be on Timcast IRL, right? Mm-hmm. Dude, normally that show has 44,000 live viewers.
Yeah, they had 190,000.
Huh?
They had 190,000.
Is that what it ended up being? Because I know when I was watching, he said it was like 175,000.
No, they pulled the numbers. It was like 190,000.
So Crowder would have at least brought that many people.
Right.
I mean, he got the largest money. He got the largest live viewing on election night at 335,000 people on Rumble. So, I mean, Rumble's a really good, it's a growing platform, but Steven's thing is you don't need YouTube. You don't need YouTube. YouTube doesn't have to be, look, you got YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. I mean, you got all kinds of places.
The best monetization is still YouTube. And that's
I know. But if you're going to take the fight to somebody, you don't say that you're fighting big tech, but sleep with them at the same time, which is what Steven's bitch is about, this whole fucking thing. And nobody gets it. Everybody seems to think it's all about the contract and the money. It's all about the money.
I get it. I just think he's wrong.
Whatever. He's trying to do his own thing, and he'll be successful no matter what he does.
Okay,
But
so
which is
okay.
why I don't think
So let
that
me.
he which I don't think and I don't think that Steven ever planned on. I think Steven's plan in the beginning was to do his own thing because he doesn't want to be accountable to anybody, and he only wants to do select reads for advertisers. He doesn't want to be beholden to advertisers or anybody else. So I think his whole plan from the beginning was to do that, and the Daily Wire knew that his contract was coming up with the Blaze. Here's my thing: the Daily Wire went to him. They went to him saying, "Hey, look, this is what we." They were saying, "We want to buy you. What do you want?" And then he said, "Look, before we can do anything, these penalties that you're giving these people, like for Steven Crowder, they already knew that he was demonetized from fucking YouTube. He's never going to get back on YouTube unless they sell it and fucking something like Elon Musk happens." But yeah, and they tried to steal his employees. They told him about their internet team, their social networking team there, and he was like, "I have a great one. His name is Brandon. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna keep him." Well, they tried to freaking poach him. That he got an email like the next day from the Daily Wire, and Steven was like, "Okay, go ahead." I mean, the thing is Steven's not super butthurt about this. The most that he's butthurt about is they're saying that they're fighting big tech while at the same time being in bed with big tech. Because YouTube is making money off of the ads that are being run on those. And if millions of people are seeing it, I mean, even Ben Shapiro admitted that Steven Crowder has more followers than him. Like, Steven is big time. Like, if he would have went, there's no denying that if he would have went to the Daily Wire would have made money, and lots of it, just off of Steve Crowder. Like, and for all the ad reads that he does, I mean, there's ad reads from what I've heard that go from like $33,000 a read. Can you believe that? Yeah. If we had so many followers that we got freaking. Huh?
Can I talk now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you don't like beat the censorship by leaving the platform. You beat the censorship by staying on the platform. Yeah, you dance around their rules a little bit, but you get to the point where your viewership is so big, the company will not remove you. Like, look at Joe Rogan and Spotify. Like, they tried hard to cancel his house, but they get rid of Joe Rogan, fucking Spotify's gone. You get what I'm saying? And so that's more like, so I get the, yeah.
I don't know that Spotify would be gone. They wouldn't be making as much because Spotify was around before Joe Rogan. But go ahead. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but there are a lot more options out there, streaming and podcasts and all that. But the number one draw on Spotify for podcasts is Joe Rogan, and they're the only thing. Well, I mean, Apple Podcasts obviously has 70% of the podcasting, but after you follow Apple Podcasts, then it's like Spotify, and like half of Spotify's money is made off of the podcast. Why? Because it's not like 20-second songs that they can go listen to for free on iHeartRadio or a million other applications. Yeah. It's content that they can only get on Spotify. Does that make sense? So it's the same thing. So and so the way Daily Wire is attacking it is, yeah, they're staying on there. They're making sure that it's content that's appropriate for YouTube's rules. Like, understanding, yeah, I want to play on your battlefield, but I'm going to have to play by your rules. At the same time, I can still do my own content on my own platform.
Okay, but here's the thing. Okay. Daily Wire. Okay, the Daily Wire wants to punish him if he doesn't do that, right? But the Daily Wire doesn't want to reward him if he makes a bunch if he makes the Daily Wire a lot more money.
Bro, they're giving him $10 million in production budget that he does
But
not
he
have.
has to produce everything himself. Do you know what his production costs are? He does a lot
Yes.
he does a lot of really good production stuff, even commercials for
I
his
understand.
sponsors.
We're going to give him $10 million for his production, which means his money all goes in his pocket.
What's his money? It wasn't the $50 million.
Yeah. Anyway, dude, they weren't offering him a contract for nothing. It's not like he wasn't getting anything out of it. Like, that's a joke.
But that wasn't his deal in the first place. Don't say
Dude, he was
that you're fighting big tech while you're being in bed
$1
with big tech.
So and I get that. But
just watch. Steven's gonna do it without big tech. He's gonna do it and he's gonna make millions, which is what he was gonna do, which is this whole thing is just BS anyways.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's all for show, it's all for clicks, it's all for views. Because they're getting monetized off of the fucking bitch fight.
Right, because do you know what it costs annually to get a subscription, all access membership with Daily Wire?
No idea. I've never tried.
It's like $250 for the year. So if they get 1,000 viewers, that's 250,000. If they get 1,000 subscribers, that's $250,000 a year.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and they've had just in the last year they've had thousands and millions have signed their petition for the whole thing. I mean, I'm not going to knock the Daily Wire. I like them. I love their content. I'm not going to listen to Candace Owens anymore because she just irritated the fuck out of me with how she handled it.
Yeah, well, every content creator has their good and their bad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this whole episode was like kicked off by Crowder to begin with because he was whining and bitching about a multi-million-dollar contract. Fuck off, dude. I'd take the contract in a heartbeat. Ben, send me. We'll sign.
I wouldn't take that contract.
All right, B and Brian will sign.
That's because I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want. And I don't care about YouTube. Look at what they're doing to us already. We don't have 700 fucking subscribers.
No, we got 1,000.
Oh shit! Wow. So that's the last time I've checked.
Yeah, let's see. Let's pull it up. Let's see where we're at. Are we at some landmark that it should have been tracking this?
But already we've been kicked off. We've been prevented from streaming twice.
Yep. I think this
So
is
what's the point?
I think this is our first one live.
We need Rumble to blow the F up.
I mean, but seriously, on YouTube, they banned us for saying cutting out a male or female sexual organ, you're sterilizing them.
Okay, so you're going to repeat what was said.
If we were a bigger show that made a lot of money, there's no way they would do that.
Yeah, they would.
No. Well, yeah, they would, unless we were making them money as well.
I mean, if we were somebody like Megyn Kelly or someone like that has over 1 million viewers, you could say
still on YouTube?
Truthful like that, and they wouldn't give you a strike for it because it was truthful.
Because Russell Brand only streams on there for like 15-20 minutes nowadays, and then he switches straight over to Rumble. So I don't know if he signed a contract with Rumble or whatnot, but that's where he does everything. Oh, he does.
There's people that say they'll record on YouTube for 20 minutes and then switch over and then drop YouTube so they can go more serious.
Yeah, because they'll tell people on YouTube that they're going to talk about stuff that they can only talk about on Rumble. So what they're using is YouTube as a catalyst to promote Rumble and to get people to switch over to Rumble, which is going to work. I wish some of these other content creators on YouTube, like Corporal's Corner and these other, would switch or at least put their content on Rumble now, because Rumble is going to be a good place. It's going to end up being like YouTube.
if not bigger. I mean, look, Rumble straight up told, what was it, Italy or whatever, to go screw themselves if they didn't take RT off of their platform. And Rumble said, no, we're a free speech platform. We don't care. You don't like it, we'll leave. So they took their business out of Italy.
No, I agree. I mean, go figure. Google's a racist, bigoted company
Yeah.
that bans anything that they disagree with. I mean, woo, big surprise there. But
Are we trying to catch more bands here or what?
They're like,
they're like YouTube right now.
Google's,
because we're frozen up on YouTube. So what's the point? I mean, right
yeah,
now,
we can say whatever we want. No, Google's like, shit, man. I don't know what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, no, they're not okay with people being unemployed, right? Until they cause people to be unemployed.
until they have to fire people.
Didn't they just do that?
Off, and then they're laying people off.
Are they taking care of their psychological safety?
Have you seen the severance packages they're getting? Yeah, their psychological safety is well taken care of.
I hope so.
Bro, they're getting.
You heard about that though, right?
So I think the base is like 6 weeks, and then you get an additional 2 weeks for every year you've been there. There was one guy that had been there for 17 years and got laid off. That means he's getting 34 weeks plus the 6 weeks, so he's getting 40 weeks of salary. Yeah, I'd say that's taking care of his mental well-being.
Yeah.
You know, he's making a pretty good salary too.
Yeah, no shit.
Better than me.
But I mean, like, the reality is, like, all of the tech companies are bloated because everything went online during the pandemic. You know, so
now it was all slowing down because people are getting out more.
Well, yeah, and people are going shopping themselves now, and people aren't.
Well, the companies weren't even really paying attention to what higher.
Yeah, and they weren't making sure that they were getting value for the money that they were spending on their payroll either. Like all these like people like putting their My Days on or like a day in the life of shit on. Dude, why is my shit coming out all crooked?
I don't know. I thought you were laying down or something, dude. The weirdest thing happened to me today. I had just taken some trash out.
I'm not going to go there.
I had just taken some trash out, okay? I wanted to let my cat outside. So I take my cat out in the front yard. Out in the front yard, yeah. My trash can's out on the street right now. So I take my cat out, and she's like just being awkward. And I'm like, whatever. I'll start going back, and this guy comes up from out of nowhere. I didn't even see this guy. My wife's like looking at him. He's got a fucking clipboard in his hand, and he's like talking. And he's like, "Hey, how long have you guys owned this place? I'm from blah 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 solar panels." And I was like, "Oh no, dude, we don't own this place. We rent. Besides, we like fossil fuel."
That's hilarious.
Just walked away. I was like, I got some charcoal in the back. That's what I cook my food on.
Nice.
Sorry, I don't have a gas stove, but
always got to be causing problems, man. See how you are.
Get the fuck out of here. We're gonna fucking talk to someone. How are you gonna? I have a fucking
pile of charcoal in the back and a shovel if you want to help shovel it into the basement so we can burn it.
I literally have a Trump magnet, a big Trump magnet on my garage door. I'm like,
okay, I want solar at my house.
No, dude, if I was you, I would too. You got a little fucking tiny place.
You don't have
out in the middle of nowhere.
Off the grid.
You're not really on the grid, are you?
No, I'm completely off grid.
So that would make sense. It would be sustainable.
Yeah, because I'm just worried when like the apocalypse comes, I'm not going to be able to I mean, there is a solar farm where I can secure more solar panels if I have my system already set up. But if shit hits the fan, I might not be able to get more propane or gasoline for the generator.
If I get a place, I want it to be on a stream, a nice moving stream, so I can hook up a generator with water paddles.
That's
You know
what
how
I
bad
thought.
of an
I
idea
would
being
love to
on a
have-
stream is here?
I'd love to have a river or a stream with a good current, so I could put some water turbines in there and get power that way.
Yeah, dude, there was this. I was watching this TV show about these people that fucking live off the grid and shit. And there was this guy who lived in caves, and he took this wire and he fucking had light bulbs all stringed out, and he had this fucking stream, right? And he found this alternator from like a pickup truck, and he hooked it up to a battery, and he put these flaps on it, and he fucking set it out next to the stream, and it spun it. And it spun it so fast that it would charge this 12-volt battery for him, and then he would get power inside of the cave. So you'd have lights and shit.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm just saying, like, here in Texas, like, I wish I had a stream through my property. Nice to have a fresh source of water, because I have a feeling that if there was some shit, like, the lake by me is a reservoir for Houston. So I'm guessing it would get targeted. But, like, in Texas, I wouldn't want to live on a stream.
Well, flooding.
Floods?
Yeah. Like, whatever you build, it get flooded out constantly. So
you'd have to be like Western Texas.
Yeah, I want to get some solar and some wind. Like, I want to have multiple sources. And I want to get one of the, like, 500-pound tanks, and just stockpile a shit ton of propane, so I never have to worry about it for, like, I can get filled up like once a year and not worry about it.
You need to start collecting rainwater, bro.
Yeah, right now I don't need to. I mean, I'm set up. I could if I needed to, but I don't need to yet. I don't use that much water, and it's easier to just pick up water than it is to filter it. But I've got, like, the water purification tablets, and I've got, like, the solid filtration system. Like, I'm ready to where I could collect rainwater. It just doesn't make any sense to me right now. It's going to be more work than just picking up or just refilling my jugs.
If you don't need it.
Yeah, I don't need it right now. Like, it's just me, and, like, most of the time, like, I don't take a shower at the house. I go to the gym first, you know? So then I just catch a shower at the gym. It makes more sense.
Well, you don't even have a shower at that.
Disgusting.
No, I've got my camp shower.
When he goes to the gym, he identifies.
He identifies the girl so he can shower with the hot chicks in the locker room.
No, I'm good. I got my hot chick. I don't need to watch anybody else shower. Just saying. Just
saying.
We'll just keep saying.
I like donkey shows.
And honey, if you're one of the 2 viewers right now, hi.
Nobody said anything. What happened to Valiant Thor? Whatever happened to Cesar? What's his name?
Trade USCZ or something like that.
You're gonna get Rob in trouble here. She's gonna think he's.
Oh, that's classic.
I ain't worried about getting in trouble. I ain't doing nothing wrong.
Yeah, I know.
The best way to not get in trouble is to don't do anything
It's
wrong.
not to do anything.
So, hey, for all the viewers, we're kind of like winding down here. Obviously, I don't think we have a whole lot more to say on this show, but make sure you smash the like, make sure you smash the subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell. Like, I went and looked, we got like 1,000 subscribers, and only like 20 of them have this notification bell on. So come on, guys, get the notification so you can catch us when we're live, because it's a lot harder to find us find the live stream after it ends than it is when it's going. So anyway, y'all have anything?
Hey guys, check out the ticker. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't think so. Did you finally notice that I had your
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, that bastard, I gotta get this in before we quit the show. Yeah, no, hey, you guys stay true to yourselves, be cool, be kind to each other. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe.
Donate for the donkey
Donate
show.
to fund one. Seriously, seriously, Brad needs a donkey show. Donate to fund one.
Yep.
I thought it said found one.
No, fun.
No,
Fun
to
one.
fund, F-U-N-D, fund one.
Anyway, revelers, thanks for joining the show. We'll catch you guys. We'll be back in a couple days, unless we think of something else we want to do in the meantime. We're always here on Wednesdays and Saturdays, but still trying to get to where we can do more content. We're just all working stiff, so kind of gets hard sometimes, but we're going to keep trying for you guys. So thanks for watching. Thanks for following. Thanks for all the subscribers. It's really kind of cool to be over 1,000 subscribers, and we're getting more and more followers on all the other platforms too. So it's cool. Thanks for following us. Glad we can entertain you. Even if you don't find us informative, I hope you at least find us entertaining.
Woo!
Have a good night. Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Brian.